I'm Commander Shepard, and VGS is my favorite show on the Citadel.
This is Three Dog.
How can I help?
It is nearly that time again where Santa Claus comes down the chimney and gives little gifts to all the good boys and girls. And on the show today, we're going to talk about some of the gifts you're likely to get if you are a little boy and girl. Who are we kidding? There's only men here and who are listening to us right now. Video Game Sophistry! Show about video games, hour-long program talking all about the latest and greatest. This week, it's all about the 2016 Game Awards. Happened earlier this week. It's essentially the Oscars for gaming if the Oscars were brought to you by, like, Duracell batteries.
No, or the Schick. Was it Schick laser?
Well, we're going to get to that.
Okay.
We got the Schick stuff. That interrupting voice you hear is Professor Zach. He's here pretty often. Joined, of course, by the whole team. We got Liam Brand, Anton Mack.
Yo.
Thomas on the board. How's everybody feeling? We got a chance to see some kind of new games. It's kind of exciting, mini E3 kind of stuff.
I'm excited, upset, and sad. Regular week.
All of those emotions.
I have all
the Game
emotions.
Awards were pretty much what I was expecting in a good and a bad way.
So for those of you that are not aware, the Game Awards is something created by Joeff Kelliey and kind of his cohorts. He's been a real figurehead in the video game industry for a really long time. He brings a little bit of legitimacy to it. He takes it very seriously, and he wants these games to be honored. And we all, before this award show, decided to take a little bet.
Oh, whoa. Oh, this is so real.
It is real. Thank you, disembodied voice from the award show. We took a bet. We looked at the nominees, and we tried to guess, to the best of our abilities, who would win. And later on in the show, we're going to see who won. And the winner will actually be the host for the rest of the show. So kind of exciting. Are you guys excited about that?
I'm actually afraid I'm going to win now.
You should be. Success is a tall master.
What?
Okay. Silence. Thanks, everyone. Thanks,
A
everyone.
harsh master?
Well, I think he's tall and scary. So let's talk about the actual games that were there. We all had a chance to see the show. Very, very quickly, guys. What's the overall sentiment? We're going to go more in depth in that later, but overall sentiments. What do you think?
Well, the award show, I think, was really exciting for the games I was already excited about.
Yeah.
But in terms of, making me excited about upcoming games I hadn't really, known or been excited for previously, not great.
No?
So,
Didn't introduce some news? There were some new titles there. Like, we did get to see...
Prey, maybe.
Prey a little bit more. The new Walking Dead.
Yeah.
That's coming out soon, too.
Yeah.
And a little sneak peek
But you'll
of
address it later.
Guardians.
There was, I was overpowered by the incredibly bad sense of every element of that.
Yeah, there's some really, really
Award
bad
show.
things that happened in this award show that we here are pretty concerned about, because this is like, people will look at this in mainstream media and be like, oh, this is a Game Award show.
And it just made me kind of realize for the first time maybe in my still somewhat young life that I think the games industry and gaming in general is younger than me. And it's not for me as much anymore.
That's a scary thought, and it's something probably people start to realize, that things are not geared towards us. So we're very old, but we have some young people here that felt the same way. So maybe, we're just, he's an old soul sort of thing. Liam Brand, the youth here, do you agree? Are you seeing...
Oh, man, I was not enjoying anything other than just the games part of that.
Okay, so it's not just old man Fanny that has a problem here.
But I'm one of the cynical teens,
Oh, man, that's
edgy
never
ones.
happened before.
So
A
edgy.
generation of teenagers that were cynical? Whoa.
I'm just different,
No, you're not. Okay, so let's go through some of these games. There's tons of different categories. Let's start with what I think is the most important category: best family game.
Oh,
No, we're going to go through a few of these. The winner,
That's such a
Pokemon Go.
genuine
Unsurprising, Pokemon Go won that. Best strategy game, Civilization 6.
Yeah.
Kind of crazy. I really like Total War Warhammer. We played a lot of that game.
I'm always more of a Total War person than...
Can I just say that out of all of the categories in the entire thing, that one was probably the most balanced. Any of those games could have won, and I would have been fine with it.
Yeah, Banner Saga 2 was in that
Yeah.
one. Fire Emblem Fates that people really like. So
XCOM was in that one too.
XCOM 2 is phenomenal. So that is an example of some great stuff. Best fighting game, Street Fighter. I assume if the game has Street Fighter in the title, it's going to win.
And 5 was especially good. Had like a rocky launch, but incredible game. I love that game.
Well, it wasn't going to be Pokken Tournament.
I don't know what that
Pokken.
is.
That's whatever. It's a Pokemon fighting game. It
Pokken
wasn't going to be
tournament?
that.
Do you know there's a great new place in Toronto called Pokken Box, and you can get like sushi in a box.
All right, what's the next category?
Next category is Best RPG. The options there were Dark Souls 3, Deus Ex, The Witcher 3 DLC, World of Warcraft, and World of Warcraft Legion. The winner, Witcher 3.
For the second year in a row.
Yeah, the
I can
DLC
see
of
it.
that.
Yep.
That's crazy that a DLC won.
That beat out Tyranny. The game that's probably my game of the year that I dream about every night.
Yeah, but
That's fair. Yeah.
I'm gonna say like the Witcher DLC is basically its own full-fledged storyline and
Yeah.
everything.
No,
it feels
it's still-
like its own
it's
game.
It's a
Still
buddy cop
great.
game with a vampire friend.
Yeah.
And it's great.
Okay, when you sell it like that, all right, I'm with you. Best action adventure game, we had some great ones: Dishonored 2, Hitman, Hyper Light Drifter, Ratchet and Clank, and Uncharted. Winner, Dishonored 2. A lot of big Dishonored 2 fans here. Actually, no, there isn't. We all
Not
kind
one.
of. Yeah, sorry.
I'm a
I thought
Dishonored
Richard was
fan.
here. No, we didn't really like it.
I don't like Dishonored
Okay.
at all.
Next up,
Wow.
best action game. That was action adventure. Again, what's the difference between action game, action adventure?
One has adventure.
Adventure's more like, yeah,
That's very true, Thomas.
I don't know.
has more like story elements. Action's just like best explosions.
Well, that's stupid. So best action game, the winner there, best explosions, Doom was the big winner there. I don't know. It's a pretty solid choice. Best VR game, this is crazy. It went to Res Infinite, which almost made me vomit.
Yeah, no,
should've
that
went
was
to Batman.
ridiculous.
Remember at Fan Expo when I nearly vomited on my shoes?
I was actually telling Thomas this on the way here, where you finished it and you were like, "I feel sick."
Yeah.
Do we still have the video for that?
We do. You can check it up. Video Game
Isn't that a
Software
metric
online.
of a good VR game that you threw up?
I don't think. I think it just needs to be a good game.
I don't know how it works.
That good.
But we all played, or at least a few of us that were fortunate enough to come to my home, played Arkham VR. And it was like the reason why I tell people to get VR is to play that game.
I don't think I've ever smiled so much in my life as when I was playing the Batman VR. I was
I haven't
legitimately
gotten to play
happy
it
for 20
yet.
minutes.
And he is a really like depressive person.
It's
so
true.
that means a lot. It
Yep.
really does. Okay, let's go through this. Best mobile game. Obviously, Pokemon Go. Everyone and your mother played that game. Best indie game. Very surprising here. Well, I guess not surprising. Inside won, but over like The Witness or Stardew Valley.
I'm not surprised that it won because it's a phenomenal game,
Yeah.
but like everyone here, I think, wanted The Witness to win.
I wanted
right?
the witness to
Yeah.
win.
I wanted Hyper Light Drifter to win.
I was okay with Inside. I like.
Okay,
Great.
That's
Yeah.
good.
I'm okay with Inside too, but
Good,
just
Professor. I'm happy that you're good.
Damn.
I wanted. What was that one indie game that I played for 100 years? Do you
It was-
guys remember?
it was The Witness. That's it.
No, what
The
was the
only
one I
indie
made
game that
1,000
matters.
videos of and everyone really loved? It was my greatest moment.
Firewatch?
Techno.
Not Technomancer. We'll think about it later. Games for Impact went to That Dragon Cancer,
very notable speech.
Yeah.
which, we're going to talk about later in the program. Great game, but 1979 Revolution was one of the best games I've played this year, along with Orwell. And we're going to talk about those later. They are different and exciting. Everything Kojima games aren't. Anyways, best performance. Oh, okay. We got to get through this. Went to Nolan North as Nathan Drake. And if you guys checked in Uncharted 4, if you checked out his speech, it was really, really impactful. He talked about the importance of game developers over himself. That's not something you'd necessarily hear at the Oscars when Leo finally wins his Oscar to say, like, I really don't matter my performance. It has a lot more to do with things that the writers, the directors, the people that made that. Very, very unsuspecting.
And Nolan North has always been super down to earth like that.
Yeah.
Very humble man.
Yeah.
We all love Nolan North.
It's true.
Best music design. We only had one of us, I think, that got that one.
Nobody did.
No one
Nobody.
did? Okay, so the options were Battlefield 1, Doom, Inside, Res Infinite, or Thumper. I would definitely say Inside. That had like ethereal noise. It was really, really
I was
powerful.
going to go with like Battlefield 1
yeah.
because that soundtrack alone is just phenomenal. But like, and Battlefield games have always just had like the best sound design in general in terms of like effects.
Winner is Doom.
Yeah.
Played a lot of that. I don't remember. Maybe it's in terms of sound design, they're talking more just about weapon noises.
Not even. It was just
No?
like pew, 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 and then like metal riffs.
Yeah.
And like the performance was just kind of a mediocre metal band.
But is that because you played Doom as an action game? You weren't really listening for the sound design. You kind of went into it thinking
His ears
yeah.
weren't closed.
Yeah, but at the same
I
time, like
played-
there's different focuses, right? When you play something like Transistor, you're obviously listening to the music, whereas you're playing something like Doom, you just shoot things.
No, I'm constantly just like blown away by the music and sound effects of Battlefield 1 whenever I started up.
All
on
right, nerds, we
headphones.
got to get on with this. Best art
All right.
direction.
Outraged.
Very, I didn't buy this at all. Inside one.
Yes, gorgeous.
Over Firewatch or Abzu, which was the underwater game that made me cry. And talk about that later.
Pause any moment of Inside.
All right,
and it's
we
just
we might have to pause some moments of Liam Brand right now.
The art direction
opinionated.
for Inside was let's just make 3D Limbo.
Best narrative.
I hate you.
Very, very surprising here. That went to Uncharted 4.
That's not surprising.
That's
Yeah,
not
what do you mean
surprising.
Oh, got shut down right there. Let's go to the next
Actually,
one. Best,
everyone predicted that, including you.
I've made a mistake. Best game direction, which I don't really understand, went to Blizzard for Overwatch.
Woo.
Completely baffles me. And finally, we got to get through this. Game of the Year. This is what has been decided by industry vets. This is what has been decided by influencers, as Joeff Kelliey said at the Game Awards show. The best game that represents gamers is Overwatch.
Yes.
Woo!
There you go. That's the moment when we realize, all right, games are not for our kind of people anymore.
Oh, no.
Okay, Professor Fanny, I don't think you should ever say this is not for our kind of people.
Our age of people.
There we
all
go.
right, yeah.
Coming up next, we are going to be...
Taking it to the next level, that was sick. You think you can go for a few more rounds?
Yes, indeed. Talking more about the Game Awards and where that moment came from here on VGS AM 640.
This is Chris Avalon from City Entertainment, and you're listening to VGS on Talk Radio AM 640.
Back here again, VGS, the video game show, joined, of course, by Zach Fanny, the brand man, Liam Brand, Anton, and Thomas. Every time, Liam, we start the show, you grab your microphone and make a god-awful noise that just...
It was turned off.
Yeah, well, it turned off a few people. Again, we're talking about the Game Awards. We just introduced you with all the winners, a lot of unexpected ones, and there was also something that is a little bit surprising. We made a bet about who would win the most, I guess, estimations we ever got, the most correct answers. And drum roll, please. Liam.
A two-way tie.
A two-way tie! It's me and Zach.
Ha! No, it's me and Anton.
All right, Liam Brand, Anton Mack.
Okay, high five moment.
There we go. That works great for radio.
How
So
many
what did you guys win?
What? What did we win?
Yeah.
Well, I guess Anton and I get to co-host the show now, and you're out of here, buddy.
Go right ahead,
We got
guys.
9 correct predictions each. Thomas closely behind with 7, and Andy only guessing half the categories. Still got 4. Got to give it to him. Zach was 0. He didn't try.
I got 0. I predicted The Witcher 3 for everything. It came out the year before.
But that would mean you got 1.
Well, this is pretty
No, I
funny
predicted the original.
because I really pushed all these guys to get this done. I reminded them 5 or 6 different times the importance of it. I wouldn't take no for an answer. And ultimately, I failed you guys. So very, very sorry about that.
Yeah,
And that's why we're the new co-hosts.
Yeah, I'm just saying that Andy messaged me at an ungodly hour in order to get this done.
Not
So,
just you.
Yeah, everyone.
I messaged everyone for it. So let's look a little bit at some of the games that weren't included real quick at the Game Awards show, because this is important. You know, a lot of people saw this award show and thought this represents the industry. For me, my biggest upset was that the game Tyranny, developed by Obsidian Entertainment, was not included. I talk about it a lot on the show. Zach and I got into almost tears reviewing it. Might have just been me. Yeah?
You started and then I finished.
That's
There
the
you
way
go.
it always goes. So I thought it was just an incredible game, and it wasn't even included for Best RPG.
That's insane.
Obsidian Entertainment game, not included for Best RPG.
So the best writing I've seen in any game this year.
That's almost as insane as The Witness not being included as in Best Art Direction or Sound Design or something like that. Liam, I know you were crazy about The Witness. You still talk about
love it. And yeah, absolutely. It's good that you bring up sound design because, like, I guess a little minor spoiler, but it uses that brilliantly as an element to some of its puzzles.
And that's kind of what a lot of these game nominees are missing. When they take one component and make it kind of unify a general message. So in The Witness, that's a great example of they use sound in beautiful direction to make a story more clear.
Mm-hmm.
And the winner of that was Doom, right?
Yeah.
I don't think Doom did that.
Doom did nothing.
Man, the shotgun reloading sound, best sound of 2016, I'm telling you.
What about you, Thomas? Is there any games that you thought like were just snubbed? Just some
Mine
righteous
was The
snubs?
Witness as well.
Yeah, so you're a big proponent of that and just
That
nothing.
game is just for art direction. Like that game was so like aesthetically pleasing and coherent. Like it all fit together seamlessly. And I think that should be a big component of what wins that category. So I think the fact that it wasn't even part of the category is kind of upsetting.
It is almost surprising. I wondered, it's something that Zach touched on in segment 1. Are we just like kind of out of the loop a little bit? We got a game show. We work really hard to make sure we know what people are talking about, but the things we like, are we, dare I say it, old?
Not me. I get roasted for being too young all the time.
No, but you're an old soul. You're the same, opinions as us, so that's a little bit surprising.
Oh, there's a disjunction between what's really popular and what maybe is really good. If I can say that we're the...
Or we're just idiots. There's also that idea.
A more likely possibility.
What was the game that the guy did, the guy who did Witness, did before The Witness again? It was Braid. And
Yes.
Braid was hugely successful. It won a lot of awards too, so I don't know, it doesn't make sense that The Witness is just getting snubbed like this.
I think people just couldn't complete the puzzles.
I agree. And I think in Tyranny, they just couldn't handle being bad. Speaking of being bad, we're going to take a quick break, but we're going to come back and talk about how the Game Awards were real bad in some pretty important ways for this industry. Gonna be back right after this. As you know, the 2016 Game Awards has completed. We got a chance to honor people in the industry who have done some incredible things. The technical achievement of Overwatch, it won big Game of the Year and just tons of awards. The performative beauty that we saw in Uncharted and the innovation that we got to see in games like Inside. It really did highlight some of the top tier AAA talent that is available in the video game industry. And we also got stuff like this.
Hydrobot, taking it to the next level. That was sick. You think you can go for a few more rounds?
Yes, that was in an award show for video games. Literally a robot with a razor blade for a head and some awkward, clunky dialogue about trying to protect your skin from irritation. Now, there are moments like that again and again and again in the award show where we would honor and talk about how great and beautiful the video game industry can be, how it reaches forms of expression that some of the contemporary industries just can't. It's more interactive. It can help you role play and experience the world and people's pains and stories in much more effective ways. For example, one of the nominees for Best Most Impact, 1979, The Revolution, an incredible, incredible game in the vein of the Walking Dead and Telltale series that really showed you what it was like to be part of the Iranian Revolution, something that Western audiences really didn't have many ideas about. And even if we did, it was more academic. This was the heart and soul. This taught me something way better than any podcast, teacher, or book ever could. Ultimately, though, the real winner in that category, and I think almost the winner for the night, was Ryan Green from That Dragon Cancer. If you're not familiar with it, it's a game that was created by Ryan and his wife that chronicled the final years, I guess, of their son that had cancer. And he got this award and got to speak about it.
Often in video games, we get to choose how we're seen. Our avatars and our tweets and the work that we do are all meant to portray the story that we want to tell the world about why our lives matter. But sometimes the story is written onto us, or it's told because of us or in spite of us, and it reveals our weaknesses, our failures, our hopes, and our fears. You let us tell the story of my son, Joel. And in the end, it was not the story that we wanted to tell. But you chose to love us through our grief by being willing to stop and to listen and to not turn away. To let my son Joel's life change you because you chose to see him and to experience how we loved him. And I have hope that when we are all willing to see each other, not for just who we want to be, but who we are and who we're meant to be. This act of love and this act of grace can change the world. Thank you.
So I think it deserves a moment just to consider that. For people that denigrate this industry and what it can do, this is a game that provided catharsis not only for a family, but also for an audience that wouldn't really understand how to consume or even relate to that pain. It's a way to tell a story of a child from a child's eyes, more effective and visual and beautiful, I think, than any other form of media. And this was followed by a talking robot razor blade. Now, if you look at other award shows that celebrate art, you look at the Oscars, you look at the Emmys or anything in that vein, you don't see floating Duracell bunnies talking about how great battery power is. You don't see full segments where someone from DreamWorks comes in to talk about how great DreamWorks' marketing plan is. It's separate. And I think no one wants the industry to go in the way it currently is. It started with the development of consumer expos. You look at things like the great big expos for Apple and what that turned into. It was about kind of relating products and what the products offered. The Video Game Awards in many ways felt more like we're talking about a toaster than an important piece of art. And as long as we keep looking at this industry as products, as tools, as toys, whose traits need to be compartmentalized instead of examined in the whole of what's being said, of what's being taught, of what's being lived, as long as we keep doing that, we're never going to be respected by the greater populace. And I think, moreover, we're always going to have winners that are based on mass appeal instead of critical success. How many times in the Oscars was a critical darling the real winner that 50% of populace never saw? How many times in the Emmys or the Golden Globes, for instance, a strange kind of show that for some reason was considered a comedy but really isn't, won the top award? It's criticized by maybe the mass public, but it's important because it was given the accolades it deserves. This show tried to give out accolades. We had Joeff Kelliey crying at the feet of his god king, Hideo Kojima. But that was undercut by more product placements and sponsorships and the continual examination of games as products instead of ways of seeing the world and experiencing it. This is something that you have to do as well. You have to make a decision to consume media in a way that is more congruent with your values. And in video games, I think it is more important than ever to go for the things that are difficult, that are different, and that aren't created in multi-million-dollar factories. There's a lot of great games coming out in the next year, and we've made a lot of strides, but eventually we all have to ask ourselves one question.
Why are you yelling? You're very excited about this project.
Why are you yelling? You're talking about a game. You don't need to scream about how great it is to jump off a cliff. These are games. These are art. We're going to be right back. So this trailer, it opens up with Guillermo del Toro, who, of course, is a director, not a video game actor or a voice actor. Yeah, that just looks exactly like Guillermo. You remember him? He made Pan's Labyrinth. What's another thing there?
Pacific Rim.
Hellboy? That was behind it?
Both movies.
Oh, I did not like Pan's Labyrinth. That terrified me.
So did
anyways,
you not like it,
robot fighting movie. Pacific Rim.
Pacific Rim, great movie. Yeah.
That's an incredible title. Okay, so he's walking in this dystopic-looking muddy place. He's holding a little Pokemon egg, it looks like. Goes up against the wall. On the bridge above him, of course, we see a tank that looks like it has veins and kind of tubes coming out of it. It actually reminded me of the sure-to-be a classic movie coming up called Monster Truck, where it's a truck that has a monster inside. Really reminded me of that. Anyways, so he gets a little afraid, starts rubbing the Pokemon egg, and this weird baby lights up and starts opening its eyes in the egg. Goes inside a dark tunnel. We see a soldier with some tubes attached to some zombie soldiers. The main soldier takes off his mask. We see that it's Mads Mikkelsen with dark eyes, basically the same villain as Doctor Strange. And the mask thing disintegrates. He gets a weird look in his face, looks up, trailer done.
That was the part where it got cool.
Yeah, because it's like Hannibal.
Okay. And it said Death Stranding at that point. And almost immediately, hundreds of thousands, if not millions, of poor deluded souls went to the internet saying they've just seen the new 1984 Apple commercial, which I think is a very apt analogy, completely meaningless and to support a megalomaniac. Liam Brand.
I absolutely loved it. I ate it up, like totally, and I still stand by the fact that it's awesome, and that is just like everything that Hideo Kojima has done with the Metal Gear Solid series before now, but finally getting a fresh start to reintroduce this new universe, this new story, these new characters, without having to play 8 previous games to get a full understanding of it. And what I was saying earlier when we were having this discussion is we yelled a lot. And it's the fact that I am able to watch this trailer and go, I have no clue what's going on, but I just knowing Hideo Kojima, I know it's just all going to come together beautifully, and I'm going to have that, oh, crap moment.
Okay, so just as you're saying that, Zach's head began to shake faster and faster, and his his pallor got redder and redder.
It's kind of violent.
Professor Z, as he likes to be called.
Everything you just said is the reason why I hated the trailer. It gestures towards meaning while remaining completely meaningless. So
those are hefty words. So hold on, let's deconstruct that a little bit. It gestures towards meaning while it's meaningless.
Yes. I posed the challenge to you, Liam, and we had some trouble thinking of one. But in every great game, you are impacted by its narrative, its dramatic stakes, the characters you love. And even in a game like Metal Gear Solid 5, it's kind of tough to think of a core theme and a very nuanced thematic statement the game is making about that theme. And it seems like that's another hallmark in this trailer.
Oh, his fingers up. He wants to get in on that.
Well, I think there are just a lot of really powerful themes that even come through in the Phantom Pain, such as like loss, blind revenge, and like, language and literature, and the importance of the manipulation of such like language and history.
Was that the quiet shower scene you're talking about?
Yes, all those things came through in that wonderful scene.
Hideo Kojima is a rampant sexist, and he should be ashamed. Continue.
Wow.
No comment. Actually, mild agreeance.
Well, that's what I mean. It's kind of like, someone who went through a high school philosophy course and is like reading Orwell for the first time. It's like, yes, there are comments and there's the textures of, commenting on our relationship to technology, on loss and trauma, but you're never made to feel those stakes or feel those moments. It's always like, oh, here's a Moby Dick reference, and the game ended up being about language. Oh, aren't we so smart?
But here's a question, though. I shoot this to you, Zach, because one of our favorite films, because we also talk a lot about film, in the last few years was Noah.
Yeah.
And if you remember the trailers and how they advertised Noah, there was a lot of examination of just great moments and themes. We didn't see a lot.
No.
So to be fair, if you look at some of the original, the beginning Aronofsky stuff, it reminded me a lot, even like tonally, of what we saw of Death Stranding. Not nearly as strange,
right?
But still, maybe it's possible that he's just kind of whetting our appetite for something a little bit.
Yeah, and of course, I might have to eat my words because this is a trailer for a game that's not going to be coming out anytime soon. But even in the basics of a trailer logic, where you have cause-effect storytelling, here's what's motivating our characters, here's what's happening, here's the challenge set before them. None of that's in this trailer. It's all the kind of pregnant looks that are given to the camera where he rubs this glowing baby, but you have no reason, no idea why he's doing this.
Exactly.
The
intrigue.
It's commodifying strangeness and weirdness for its own sake, which means that you're disappearing up your own
behind.
I would like to say this is just a trailer. The deeper meaning of the game isn't going to be shown in the trailer.
But a lot of people are really loving this already and hailing it as something so beautiful
because
and great.
There's something special about a Hideo Kojima game. If any other game were to do this, it could be, this is like a load of poop. But we know, like, he has that glowing reputation behind him that we know this can be bizarre and have faith that it'll come together.
Isn't that kind of a bad thing, though? That in order for people to really appreciate and see the beauty and the art and kind of attribute all these big words, this high art stuff to a trailer, it's because you know the guy who's making it is going to do a good job. Shouldn't the trailer kind of influence you in a way that should say, oh, wow, I think this is going to be a good game?
Yeah.
Anton,
circumstantial.
Final word. Anton, final word.
Oh, final word. So I'm not like these guys who are super into it or like, on one side of the coin or the other, but I think it looks super mysterious. It looks like there is a lot more to it, and with that, the idea that it's Hideo Kojima, it's kind of like when you watch a basketball game and you see LeBron James, you expect greatness. It's kind of the same thing with Hideo Kojima.
I do not think that is LeBron worthy. All right, what do you guys think? If you're watching right now on YouTube or, of course, listening, send us a message. You can check out the trailer on Video Game Sophistry on YouTube. Got to take a quick break now. We're shifting gears a little bit. Something else, a game that might also fail us in the future. Got to find out. Coming up. VGS back here again, continuing our talk all about the Game Awards. We just finished yelling at each other about Death Stranding. Andy, Zach, Liam, Anton, and Thomas here. I think we can all agree that Andy was right. Next up, though, was a game that my sentiments might not be correct on. I think there might be some division in the ranks here. Mass Effect. Oh, we did the same time. Twinsies. Mass Effect Andromeda. How dare you take my thunder? Was announced by Aaron Flynn, and we got to see real gameplay.
Woo!
Liam, you said this beforehand. They should have shown this like years ago,
or should have just waited till now to announce the game. Like my hype is just killed. Like I remember a time where I would have like been off the wall about this gameplay. Now I'm like, okay, finally. Like,
yeah, back when he was 12. Zach, take us back through. Not take us back. Show us exactly
what happened in the trailer
with these great words that you've worked so hard on cultivating.
Oh, thanks. Well, it's really interesting because we actually we're able. No, but so far it has been disappointing because we've seen some beautiful concept art. Some vistas and whatnot, but now we finally see those vistas and ecosystems actualized in a game environment that you can walk around and live in. So now we feel like we have a living, breathing Mass Effect universe that looks dangerous and new from what we've seen before. So it very much cultivates that frontier aesthetic, right? We get the Mos Eisley type of, trading post cantina thing that you're walking around. You get a sense that there's a lot of different individual characters to interact with. We interact with some kind of, the Arya Talok equivalent.
Yeah, so we got to see a dialogue wheel.
Yeah, the dialogue wheel is up and running. You can scan and collect resources. You can explore on the Mako, the open world.
Before we get to that, because that's a big thing that we should discuss, we saw some people that will be your squad mates. We have a female Turian, this badass-looking Krogan with bones everywhere, and someone who will have an interaction with, like, the Arya Talok character, right? And a female rider, which is pretty cool, female protagonist. What do you guys think about this new interpretation of the squad? Because for me, I really love the idea that it had that sense of familiarity, but just different enough to really, really appeal to me. We got, like I said before, the Krogan had bones coming out of his armor. It implies that there's some, like you said, this frontier atmosphere, things like that. So, what do you guys think?
Whew. Anton, your thoughts?
My thoughts? Well, I wasn't prepared for this, but I don't know. I wish there was more drastically different party members. I understand what you mean by the sense of familiarity and, kind of that, I guess, parallel between our old party members from the last games to now. But I wish we had drastically different characters. Because
just new species?
Yeah. Well, not even just new species. Just like, the whole war Krogan thing has been overplayed. And then the badass, what is it again?
Oh, Anton, you're killing me.
Why? I'm not a fan of just the same cliches that we've seen in the last. But it's
not. We have first of all, there hasn't really been a female Turian that we've seen in the game before.
But
apparently this race never did that. And this Krogan does look a little different. Are you just thinking that maybe they need completely new party members, or
I think I just different personalities and different styles to them? Because once again, like, we just have another war Krogan, and then we have another badass Turian. Like, I want something different. Like, I want a timid Turian who is scared of everything, and I want a Krogan who
these
loves
are warriors
everything.
on the frontier. We're not doing like a Friends reunion here. You understand?
No, but you did get like a very diverse range of personality types with the past games. Like, everybody's favorite character, Morden, was just a big nerd.
Well, again, this is just the introduction to it,
Yeah.
so we haven't really seen a lot. We go from that to the combat and the actual, we'll go combat first. Zach.
It's a lot of the same things you've seen before. So you have the biotic powers. Interestingly enough, this time you're not going to choose a class. You're going to power up, all these different powers the way you want to. You can reuse your points, so you can actually kind of narrow down on a skill set as you play. A lot of more vertical movement, like not as much combat-based shooting mechanics that we've seen before. So it's very slick, very fast, but it feels more like a Titanfall.
It feels
third-person
a lot
Titanfall type of thing.
like Titanfall from what we were doing.
You're jetting around, you're jumping around. You have biotic shields. You can use some of the same weapon upgrades that you've used before. A lot of different chaos. Looks very epic, but it will not be as strategic, I think, as we're used to.
They claim that there will be some strategic elements, but from what we saw, it was just a lot of explosions. They went from biotics out of the hand, electricity out of the hand, fire out of the hand.
Warping to different heights.
Yeah.
And
The one great thing, it kind of reminded me of, you think of where you went in the Mako in Mass Effect 1 to where you're going now. It's kind of like they took the planets from No Man's Sky and just
I had that thought too.
Yeah, it's just these really off-center, off-contrast colors that were meant to seem alien. I'm wondering if that's going to get lazy. We do have to get out of here real quick. Only so much time in an hour. Keep watching us online. Final thoughts, Liam Brand.
Ooh, very, very intriguing. A lot of depth to the worlds, but I'm just kind of concerned about how deep it actually does go.
The puddle may be shallow. We're going to find out later this year, hopefully. Going to be back with a quick goodbye after this. Big thank you to everyone that took part in this program. It was a little bit difficult. We had some technical problems, but we got through it. I think, firstly, we have to thank Thomas Hyde.
Hey, Thomas.
We set him up to fail, and he did not meet our expectations. He did not fail. Of course, Professor Z, thank you. Liam Brand, Anton.
You're welcome.
Tons of fun games, that we are talking about this year, 2016. Maybe next week or the week after, we're going to talk about how this has been a pretty good year for games.
I'm quitting my job in 2017. Unrelated.
Just want you guys to know. Big thank you again to everyone who's watching. Head online and you can see the uncut, longer version of the show, Video Game Sophistry, on YouTube. On the Facebooks, if you want some great gaming stuff, Liam Brand is killing it. Woo! Despite his subpar views on gaming, he's actually doing a really great job on social media.
Wow.
And keep following us for our Final Fantasy stuff. And play games. Play good games. Everyone, final goodbyes.
Goodbye.
See you, everyone.
Goodbye.
I like Pokemon.
Without a doubt, the worst episode ever. Rest assured that I was on the internet within minutes, registering my disgust throughout the world.